to free Malys from the ethereal plane and or not ethereal plane. Sorry. I'm blanking on what it's called.
Astral Sea.
Astral Sea.
Yeah.
Thank you. Planescape.
Yay, Planescape! Woo!
We freed ourselves from the Astral Sea. I don't think Malys really cares.
Okay. But you managed to, I wouldn't say piss off, but slightly annoy a powerful organization in the process. However, they
just stand in line.
Yeah. However, they managed to, because of the nature of their spacecraft, in the loosest of terms, are on their way, but it's going to take a while. So you have about 30 days before they're even in range of your fastest way of getting there.
Do we know how we pissed them off?
It was more of a pride thing, because of you repelling their
aggressive act against us.
and then managed to free the hobgoblins, which they still don't quite know how you did.
Well, and do we know how we did, or did Plautus just show up with them?
Yeah.
So Zashi knows how we did. And it wasn't Plautus, it was
Mephistopheles.
Yeah, Meph.
Yeah. So no, you're not aware of how Mephistopheles did it.
No, I know that.
Where Mephistopheles did it.
Yeah,
we know that he did. We made the deal.
Yeah,
but we just don't. He just showed up. So it's like,
yeah, that's how
out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we did it. We made a deal with Mephistopheles.
Mm-hmm.
How he made it happen
from there is his.
So that's all we have to do is we just have to let Blacketh know that Mephistopheles did it, and they can go fight with hell.
That's exactly what you guys need to do. So while you're waiting for your next crisis to appear, what do you guys want to do for the 30 days?
Well, I guess first, before we go into what Whistler wants to do, and for Shayna to start thinking of something that Zashi would bring up with Brutus and possibly look into. Meph is gone, right? Meph went back to hell?
Yeah, Meph has no reason to stick around. Plautus is very dead.
Yep. So is the mayoral election going to be during these 30 days?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, we don't have to get him elected anymore?
We still have to put him forth as a mayoral candidate to satisfy the agreement. But who
he's
else?
Not hanging around.
He's not here, but still going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So Scott can start thinking about that. Brutus, Zashi would bring up looking into how your people are doing and possibly planning an expedition to free some of them.
Okay. Yeah, that would kind of be, it's kind of the only thing Brutus really has a vested interest in outside of the dealing with the fires as we encounter them.
Mm-hmm.
As we make them, you mean?
That said, I will say, while Plautus, or while Mephistopheles has disappeared, around the time of the election, which we'll pick up on our RP site, somebody will appear to represent Plautus's interests and such, or Mephistopheles' interests and such matters.
Awesome.
I will say that Whistler, because it's part of the deal for his group, was going to help them. He will help put Plautus forward, but every time he references Plautus, the illusion of Plautus will have devil horns. Not like an image of actual meth, but it will have it will be Plautus just wearing costume devil horns.
Okay. Considering that 95% of your populace right now are kobolds, they think you're just going like they don't think of it as devil. They think you're trying to do one of those like I'm one of you things.
That's fine. Whistler just wants deniability later.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were warned.
And there is
I
one
told
other.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there is one other thing Zashi wants to look into, but we can get to that later.
Well,
'Cause I know-
the election probably won't happen. The election, because the election is called and it's going to take about 3 weeks to organize. So, and that will lead, and we'll say that Crixus shows up like a week before it actually happens.
Okay.
So you basically before we'll get to that scene, we'll start with for the first 2 weeks. What does anybody want to do?
So Zashi's looking into, with Brutus, an expedition to Brutus's people on the Isle of Clouds, and also making inquiries into what's happening in the north with the werewolves and the Blood Throne.
Okay.
Well, actually, Blood Throne's in a different direction, but
So we're gonna do this by a week basis. So the first week you're working with Brutus to figure out a plan to liberate the Isle of Clouds from the Formians.
yes.
Okay.
And we're probably making plans to hopefully do that maybe after we deal with the Gith, because we know we can't leave until that situation's handled.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe just making plans.
I'm going to need an intelligence check, just a straight intelligence check from one of you with advantage because the other one is helping.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess that you're better at the brain thing.
No, I've got a +1 intelligence.
Oh wait, really? I have a 2. Okay, let's do it. I mean, it
Bruce
is me
has a
rolling.
+2.
Yeah.
Leave his little brain alone. Oh,
He's like, it's okay, guys. I'm good at the brain thing.
I got this. I got this.
I got the brain thing.
Okay. So you think with some ships, the biggest problem is that I mean, basically the Minotaur's religion is based around Formians, so like trying to liberate them, like it's gonna be a hard sell. Like
Yeah.
the people
Don't
you're
worry,
trying
I will
to
convince
free
them.
are probably are the shock troops of the people they're trying to get freed from. It's not.
Yeah.
Militarily, if you wanted to invade, it wouldn't be that hard, but you would kill a lot of Minotaurs in the process.
Yep.
Death
And
is
you're
better than
not-
slavery. That's his character.
And you're
Wait.
not entirely sure how the Formians would react. But considering their callous nature, they'd probably just retreat and not like they probably would just use the Minotaurs as a shield so that they could run away.
Yeah. Okay.
Are the Cloud Islands, are they just islands named the Cloud Islands, or are they islands in the clouds?
It is a series of very tall volcanoes in the on the southern hemisphere. They kind of jut out of nowhere, like it's they're right on the continental shelf. So they're called the Isle of Clouds because the mountain is so tall.
Okay.
Like,
So is Zashi and Brutus gone for a good chunk of that 30 days then? Or?
I think they're just
No.
planning.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. We're just doing logistics.
Mhm.
We like Sasha said, we can't go anywhere until we deal with the incursion.
I mean, you
Mhm.
could, but you would be gone for probably longer than the 30 days.
Yeah, because we'd have to get to the coast to get the ships to get us to the Isle of Clouds, which is in the other hemisphere. So we're
Yeah.
looking at several months to get there, unless we have some sort of
It's literally on the other side of the world.
Yeah. We'll hold off on that. Planning will make Brutus feel better, but
Yeah.
we'll hold off.
Now,
The other option is to try to go through the crust of the planet to cut out some of the
yeah,
travel.
you could go into this world's version of the Underdark, which is basically a giant ant colony that exists right above the mantle.
Right.
But which
That is an option.
We'll consider it.
Okay, so is anyone else doing anything for that first week? By the way, just so you're aware, Chester, Daco's, as soon as you guys entered Suabos again, you feel like your direct control over Malys is waning. You are getting slightly more powerful, though, as your influence starts spreading, but you feel like you're being kind of pulled apart. Like your ability to focus on any given task is limited. You're beginning to understand that, like, as you progress to the clerics are your ability to like focus on an individual task, but you relinquish some of your power to them. As you get more worshippers, Daco gets more powerful. So it's kind of a push-pull mechanic.
Gotcha.
Just because it's related to that, on my list, I've got Morris is carving Daco effigies and selling them in the shop.
Oh,
because he basically reopened the werewolf shop.
Okay. Yeah. So now
they're
Malys
really
has
cheesy.
its first. Morris has now invented actually probably all of Suabos, the first ever gift shop in all of Suabos.
Well, it's the general store. He's actually tried to reopen the general store.
Right, but you're selling shot skis.
Yeah, but he's selling that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a gift shop section of the general store. But you actually notice quite a few of the kobolds are buying them.
Bliss would be willing to assist Morris in running the shop and helping get it going again. Also, because it's a perfect front for her stuff.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything for that first week that they want to do?
Well, maybe.
Okay.
But okay, first of all, I wanted to ask, okay, so Whistler had two weird amulets that you couldn't quite identify. At the end of the last session, you said that the one that Vecna Amethyst Undead Amethyst Dragon had was like a ring of mind shielding, but in amulet form.
Mm-hmm.
What about the other one, the one that he got from the stomach of Safi, that he didn't detect magic on it, but it had something to do with the soul? Or was that the one that was mind shielding?
No, the one you got from Vecna was the mind shielding. The one that had to do with the soul, you think. Well, your association with necromancy would let you know this.
And he would totally try to identify this, too,
yeah,
because
even
though it did detect magic,
it's not technically magic yet. It is, or it was at one point. In order to create, and this came from Safi, or this came from Opal?
So it was in Safi's stomach. I think it actually came from Topaz.
Okay. Oh, okay. I remember which one this was. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you think that that Vecna was at some point creating a phylactery on this plane, and that's what you have. Is before it was completed, like it's this close from being. That's why it's technically not magic yet. But it's to hold a piece of somebody's soul.
Now, because mind shielding can hold a soul too, so is there a soul in that amulet?
No.
Okay. Then he will give that amulet to Bill and tell him through illusions that it will help stop the whispers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Bill will definitely take it. Okay.
The mind shielding amulet. He'll keep the weird electric one.
And you actually, if you want to give me an Arcana check and to see if you, just so you know if you can complete it or not. If you wanted to. I don't know if you'd want to.
Well, he doesn't want to be a lich.
But regardless, it's a free intelligence
Yeah.
check to figure out if.
Oh yeah. That was a save, not a check.
Okay.
Sorry.
Why is?
I always hit the wrong button.
Give me a second. Something's weird. What in the world is going on?
Okay, I'm gonna grab more tea while you figure out what's going on with the system. Tea, all the tea, all the tea, all the
Okay,
tea.
that's weird. Got it. Okay. Yeah. So 15. This is some high level magic. You're not entirely sure what the last component would be.
Okay. Well, he'll hold on to it.
Okay.
Just in case, but
Mhm.
he won't be wearing it around his neck
Yeah.
anymore because he realizes what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
He is going to. So level 4, I took Arcanist's magic aura.
Mm-hmm.
So he is going to cast that on himself every day.
Okay.
He is also going to cast it on his ring of flying every day.
That's
His
the
ring
one
of fly.
that prevents. What does magic aura do? Just
So it has two options.
Huh?
You can either use it to make a magic aura appear non-magical,
mm-hmm.
which is why he went ahead and I tried to identify the non-magic
Mm-hmm.
soul thing, because he realized you can do that and you can hide magic auras.
Yeah.
So, and that's what he's doing on the soul ring. Is he's just on the flying ring. Is he's just trying to make it look mundane to detect magic.
Okay.
It would still show up on identify because of how identify works, but to detect magic, it wouldn't show as
Right.
magic. You can also use it to change how your alignment and creature type shows to magic's abilities, like a paladin's divine sense, which is what he's doing on himself.
Okay.
But he's just doing it to look like a neutral humanoid Kenku.
Okay.
Nothing to see here. Carry on. Carry on.
Just neutral. Just neutral.
Just
But
neutral.
but one of the important things about that spell is if you cast it on the same person or the same object every day for 30 days, it becomes permanent. So that's why he's doing it every day.
Okay.
And on the last day, he'll upcast the one on him to 4th level so that it's above the 3rd level dispel magic. Creepy, but
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. So we go to the next week. Unless Storm, you have anything?
Storm is having to somehow take care of his zoo that he has. He has a lot of animals now.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, but just give me a standard animal handling check, and then
Oh yeah.
Do you want me to do animal handling, or because what I would do is I would either cast speak with animals or tongues, so I could persuade them to do what I want.
Yeah, if each day you want to cast it,
Yeah.
speak with animals, and go ahead and give me a charisma persuasion check, you can do that.
That actually reminds me for the animals that Zashi got. She was going to be working with Graxus,
Mhm.
the Goliath, to help her deal with them and get the hive up and running,
Okay.
and deal with the Remoraz and start harvesting that. But
You've already had your thing, so you don't make any progress your first week because you've already done your roll with the planning. So second week comes in. What's everybody doing? And then on the third week we'll get into Chester's new character and we'll determine how the mayoral candidate works.
Oh, okay. So a lot of mine are hard because they're not like what time I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's things that I would do sometime in the 30 days or over the whole course of the 30 days.
Right.
But by that set first week, so one of his main goals is to learn as many spells as he can, because he's
Okay.
still got all those necromancy spells in his head. Which, if you ever want to tone that back or have that expire or something, just let me know.
No,
Because that's kind of really powerful and crazy.
Yeah, no, it's still there.
But he's gonna run out of paper, so he's gonna need to get more paper again. And I don't know how much paper can be produced by our friendly alchemist. So
Abernathy is running low. Like,
yeah. So he will do what he can to help Abernathy in his process to make more paper.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is ask for you. We'll say the paper problem starts presenting itself after the first week. Mainly because you're in a desert. There's not a lot of trees. And you have there's a whole process of making paper. So I need you to give me a intelligence nature check to source a different way of making paper pulp.
Nope,
Yeah, so
probably not.
I'll say he probably have enough. His total supplies of paper right now is around 100 gold worth between paper and ink.
Okay. Well,
so-
I mean, well, I'll buy that too, but
Yeah.
Okay.
So he runs out of paper real quick.
Okay.
He tells you it's going to be another week before he gets another shipment. And that he'll put in a bulk order if you want.
well, yes, he would want.
Okay.
But also, that will bring to one of my other things on my list. He is going to go around town and using the magic of the church to copy notes.
Mhm.
He's going to basically make lots and lots of copies on mundane paper of his notes of the engine.
Okay.
And he is going to spread them all around town to all these smart, powerful people.
Okay.
Basically, just trying to, because he doesn't care about making money himself off of this. He just wants things to start getting built so that they can exist.
Okay. So Abernathy is very interested in it. Kaylee is less so. She's not that mechanically inclined. I'm trying to think of anyone else that would be relatively interested in it.
Yeah.
There's a
Well, he'll give it to everybody, whether they're interested or not. And the only person he'll avoid is Monk, because Monk scares him.
yeah. There are quite a. Actually, there's that. So as you spread that around, 3 or 4 kobolds get really interested in this.
Ooh, they're gonna blow themselves up,
Probably.
but that's okay.
I think so. We're splendid right now.
That one blows itself up. That one definitely blows himself up.
Oh no!
Oh
Explosions of rocking Malys.
boy.
Mm.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Is there how much collateral damage is there?
How big an explosion
There
is this?
I will say Malys is rocked by quite a few explosions in the first
Serious.
week and a half.
So I am imagining, since Whistler was going to be spreading that around, and that probably happened sometime in the first week, Zashi and Brutus are poring over a map, planning out the route, and they both look up at these explosions and go, "What the fuck?"
What is going on?
We're under attack.
Well, yep. Everybody jumps to arms immediately.
In fact, I will say there's some pamphlets start coming up from that say "Stop the Carnage," and this is the second week. Vote Plautus.
I was about to suggest.
And like pictures of explosions.
I was literally about to start typing. There should be propaganda from Clovis about this.
Because I'll say, let's see, we'll do it this way. So the first explosion, in addition to the kobold that blew itself up, another kobold died.
No.
Oh,
The other two, a total of 41 kobolds died in that week.
no.
It's actually a huge problem right now between fires and
God. God, should we? Is there like a daycare type thing we could put all the kobolds in so that they stop? Like,
You almost need to. Yeah.
well, they're not going to do it again because it was only 3 kobolds that were interested in it, and at this point, actually, Resplendent got involved and told all the kobolds to stop it.
oh, good. Okay.
Great progress.
Babysitter said stop.
Yeah. Who do we have a firefighting crew?
Yeah, other kobolds.
Keep the whole. Okay.
Yeah, because when there was the fire, we all did the dumping sand and stuff. I know
But
Daco
they were
was telling.
building an engine for the fire company in the fire hall, so like they were the first one.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
not the best
That was the
planning.
first place
I
to
mean,
go.
I will tell you this: one of the reasons like that natural 20 came up is one of the kobolds realized that the closest thing an engine is that they had was a pump. So it was the main water pump of the town probably exploded as they were trying to upgrade it from a water wheel to a.
Oh, that's great.
I love the kobolds.
Yeah. So that happens, a bunch of explosions and a bunch of kobolds dead. Because those were my rolls.
Have I gotten the sort of cast back?
Sure.
Okay. So, does either where does Brutus and Zashi where do they live in the town?
We actually, if the temple is becoming more like a church, then Zashi would be converting one of the buildings in the area we purchased into a home.
Shayna said something about the what's happening to that place with one of her other characters, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, back in the chat, she just typed it.
Jay had plans to basically just keep Daco's place going in his honor, make sure all of that's going okay. Yes.
Yeah. So Zashi would be converting one of the buildings like right next to our temple into living quarters.
Okay. Yeah, so then one day you just find the sword of cast in its very heavy new scabbard just like sitting on your bed.
That's not creepy.
No, not creepy at all. Oh, I suppose that is one of the things that Zashi would have done is purchase the restoration for her fingers that fell off.
Okay. Yeah. So that would be 500 gold. Well, actually, wait a minute, restoration? So you're trying to regrow limbs?
Well,
So you
no,
need
you
a
had
regeneration
said-
spell?
Well, no. So my fingers were rotting. You said something about
Oh, yeah.
specific-
Sorry, you need. Okay, yeah, you need greater restoration. Sorry, I thought like somehow your fingers had fallen off and I'd forgotten about it. That would require a regeneration spell, which is way more expensive.
Yeah.
and harder to come by. There's no one in town that can cast regeneration.
Right.
Who can cast greater restoration?
Oh, I think I can.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, but you're not there yet.
I can't actually. I was
You
wrong.
don't exist in our circle yet.
Well, around somewhere there is a turtle cleric wandering around.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere. There's a turtle cleric around here somewhere.
I've only
Damn.
got monster.
I can go unbury him if you want.
Mhm. So, but yeah, no, but even they can't cast regeneration. Regeneration is a 7th level spell. So.
Yeah. No, you said greater restoration for
Yeah.
what? Because I hadn't gotten far enough where anything actually fell off.
Right.
What a weird thing to say.
I mean, if you're like lizard folk, I probably wouldn't require it because lizard folk, I would say, regenerate limbs. But okay, so second week after all the explosions, what's everybody doing?
Do I want to do the research on that, or do I want to actually continue? I think Zashi would go with her personal goal and work with Graxis on the Remoraz and the nitramide bees.
Okay.
And
So I'm assuming you are going to use his animal handling and help him.
yes.
So can you give me a roll a 1d20 plus 6, please, with advantage. I'm trying to check something. Okay. Apparently, if I try to, by the way, what keeps on happening is if I try to enter anything into chat, it's causing my window to freeze on OBS.
Oh, that's weird.
Is that the chat in both Roll20 and in Hangouts, or just?
I never use the chat in Hangouts, but like it's that's why I keep on having that look of like absolute confusion. I can fix it, but like I just have to refresh the window, but it's really annoying. So I'm going to try my best to not roll.
Okay.
Okay.
I was gonna ask, are you capturing OBS the window or as the browser? Like your whole.
I'm capturing it
Your
as a
whole
window.
screen?
I don't know what's going on. It's
Weird.
as soon as I click into the type field, it'll freeze up.
Weird.
But like I can, but it's moving as long as you guys are doing stuff. But the moment I try, it'll just freeze up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where
That
did
was
you guys
one-
find nitramide bees? I forgot on that one.
That was at the tower. There was nitramite bees, there was the death moth butterflies, and there was
Okay.
one, and then the remoraz, and there was one other insect-like, which I have somewhere in my notes. I'm just blanking on what it was.
Okay.
That Zashi got out. So that's where the nitramite bees
Oh,
came
okay.
from.
I was just trying. I just forgot where they were from. So yeah, with a 25, it's a good thing he had advantage on that because that 7 would have been bad. Although
That
I
would've
will
been really
say so that the 25, you realize why there were so many explosions from the kobolds and what they were using as fuel because you're missing quite a bit of the honey.
Yes.
But you managed, I will say, the Remoraz seems to be happily devouring the rotten food you managed to procure for it. It probably will be a decent disposal system. The nitramide bees, I mean, they're making explosives, but I don't know exactly your plan for them. Eating this honey is a colossally bad idea.
Oh no, it's going to be for explosive fuel.
Challenge accepted.
In fact, if you will
Probably
allow,
not make a good fuel. Again, makes like it's basically C4. Like it's not.
Yep. Yes.
Less controlled bursts.
I think in that case, it's going to be getting it into proper pouches to use as C4.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just use it for what it's apparently intended for.
Yes.
Shocking that it thinks that you want to not be there anymore.
As for the Remoraz, along with disposal system, it is the venom that Zashi needs.
Yeah.
So
It's still a little small to get that venom. It's gonna be it's gonna be like 6 months before you can really milk the venom without causing problems.
Yeah.
Like you could
Excellent.
like you could harvest it now for its venom sac if you wanted to kill it.
I do not want to kill it. I need. There was a lot of the statues down in the jail that we found, plus the other thing that Zashi needs it for. She actually needs a lot of venom, so milking it is going to be the better option.
Yeah, that I will like to say on chat that is actually the correct term. You milk venom.
I know. I just forgot until you said it, and now that's just stuck in my head.
Okay, for the nitramide bees, about how much of the honey do we get that for explosive purposes that may or may not be used either in the Gith Temple or possibly with the
I don't know, 2 pounds.
Works for me.
And I will figure out the explosive potential of how much a pound of the honey does. I will say that it's still like you're gonna need somebody that knows what they're doing if you want to actually use this effect. Like you can make a big bomb, but the best explosions are usually shaped charges, and you don't really know how to do that yet.
Can I? Well, I guess we
talk to somebody else about it.
Yeah.
What does everybody else want to
Just
do?
need to get a bunch of kobolds together, get them far apart from each other, and let them play.
I was gonna say, how much studying and investigating can we do? Because if you just want someone to play around with explosives for a bit,
Pretty sure that's what kobolds are for.
So mean.
Resplendent is gonna come for you like very soon.
Okay. So we'll go to Shayna. What's Brutus doing this week?
I mean, unless there was more work logistically for planning with Sashi, he's kind of fine with helping whoever needs help with something. He don't really have much planned. He knows that a lot of it's just going to be planning, and when this next moon crash issue is over, that's when he can work on helping his people. But until then,
Okay. I will say the moon is getting larger in the sky. It's still not like Majora's Mask big, but
okay, good.
One of the other things, not so much something that Whistler would do, but definitely something that Tabra would do along with anyone else's followers who'd help them, is we need to explore the other areas of the city that are no longer under any time dilation, because there might be like a giant army just like 2 miles away from us hanging out. Yeah.
If that's something that would get mentioned to Brutus, he would be more than happy to go with the followers or lead them and go and do that.
Okay, sweet. Brutus, give me an intelligence survival check with advantage because you have a bunch of followers helping you out.
Okay. Intelligence survival instead of wisdom, huh?
Yeah.
Damn it. Okay. So it's 5.
Okay. So hopefully this will work without it freezing up on me when I ping. So approximately here, and yeah, it freezed on me again. That's interesting. Every time I interact with the window, it freezes on me.
But you were pinging this box.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
No worries. It was.
So around that area, you actually managed to find a courtyard of and it's so with the time dilation, it's been like 3 weeks and some very confused armored elves that are still like going through the process of training, but are also like they've sent out some scouts, and as you stumble upon them, they're so military that they don't really know what to do, but like they know something's wrong, and
Okay.
are slowly trying to like retake the city. They think basically in their minds there's been an insurrection, and they're hunting down these monsters that roam their streets. Which also you manage that. There's another problem in that because they're elven military, they're primarily led by spellcasters, and there's still a weird magical effect that if you don't know what you're doing, they manage to create their own living spells.
Well, thankfully, I don't know if they only speak Elven, but at least I can communicate with them for sure. So Brutus will try and calm them a bit, and then say, I don't know much about the spell stuff,
As
but
soon
I
as they see Brutus, they yell out, "Oh God, it's a demon!"
Can I send someone else then? Who else could I send?
Well, you have Tabra, who's a centaur.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not super helpful though.
Of course, if they look like they were going to attack Brutus,
Yeah,
Tabra was right there. Tabra would probably just start cutting them down.
yeah, and I would if we can befriend them instead. And
That's how the war starts.
I also feel like if Jay was with, then she wouldn't be super helpful either, because again, demon. Do we have any not monstrous style followers who
Not anymore.
Well,
You're a
we've
very
got.
eclectic party, we'll put it that
Yeah.
way.
Well, you have. We
And
have.
by the way, you also have an army of kobolds behind you too.
Shit. The general of the weirdest army.
So we do have the dwarf gunsmith that decided to follow Zashi.
Yeah, he
But-
probably would have been there with you, but he refuses to speak Elven, and
Gonna say.
and is basically counseling you to kill them all.
Then I'm gonna just ignore them and I'll try to play peacekeeper, and Brutus will be as unintimidating as possible to try and communicate. And he's just yelling out in Elven like, I come in peace. This is weird, but chill out a sec. I can explain.
Okay, give me a persuasion check. We'll give you disadvantage on this just because of the weirdness of the situation.
That's unfortunately fair.
They're very scared.
Oh, no. I would have had it.
Oh, there's a Shayna roll right there.
Somebody, so it doesn't freeze up on me, give me a 1d20 plus 4 against Brutus's armor class as arrows start raining down on you.
Hey,
Yay, a 6.
So I'll say that you notice the commander puts its hands up, puts the arrow and just points, and elven arrows just start peppering at you.
Are the people with me at risk of being hit, or am I far enough away that it's just me?
I would imagine you would have held them back, and
Yeah.
so yeah, they're not risk of being hit.
Okay.
However, you do see your dwarven sniper is definitely taking positions and is like, just say the word, General. I got it.
No.
Got this.
Let me try one more time. Let me try one more time, and then if they don't cooperate, sure.
Okay.
And I'll try again. Do they care at all about, like, and I'm yelling at Elvin, like, look, I'm not attacking you. Stop shooting at me. See how I'm not retaliating, huh?
So he's not a devil. He's not a demon. He's a devil.
Give me another persuasion check with disadvantage, and we'll find out.
I'm so mad that I got that
You
20.
hear in Elven, it's a trick.
All right, fine, kill the elves.
Okay, it's a freaking slaughter. As
Yeah.
I'm not even like.
I tried.
All right, so I have to change my caption to here. There used to be elves.
Mhm.
Stubborn elves. I tried. Do they have any good
However,
stuff?
you get a bunch of sets of elven chainmail that essentially the kobolds start bickering among themselves for because it's really shiny.
Okay. Would have one put aside specifically for Resplendent and then let them divvy up the rest amongst themselves unless anyone wants it. But what about spellcasting reagents and stuff that I could give to the more?
Each of the. I'll say that there's full spellcasting pouches on. There's probably 2 lieutenants and 1 lieutenant colonel.
Okay.
And no generals or anything, but so you do get 2 sets of mithril plate and a +1 set of mithril plate from them. They have much better armor than their standard troops.
Yeah.
Your kobolds are now, instead of being, and if I don't think we'll ever get into warfare rules, but if we ever get into warfare rules, somebody mark down that your kobolds are now heavy infantry, not light infantry.
I definitely taking that note. I'm curious. I know I'm a Minotaur and they're elves. Is there any way that +1 mithril plate could be outfitted for me?
Yeah, it's actually because the +1 mithril plate, because of the nature of magical armor. So the mithril plate doesn't conform, but the +1 mithril plate automatically conforms to your shape if you want to don it.
Yes,
But you look like one of those fantasy pinup girls that just have like the tiny piece of armor that's full AC effect.
a band across my chest. I love that.
Giant minotaur male with little
Teeny tiny little
But it does provide protection. Okay.
It's phenomenal.
What's Thor's gonna have?
So I was wondering if Brutus would allow Tabra to have the mundane mithril full plate, both of them, so that she can have it refitted for her. Because she needs lots of armor as a horse butt.
Sure. No, they became friends earlier on, so he would definitely be down with that. Yeah.
Sweet, because her AC sucks, so now it doesn't.
No, she can have them.
I will say, because of her general size, it will take both of the sets.
Yeah, that's why I asked for both of them.
Because she like the one just basically covers her torso without really needing any refitting. But then
she needs the other half plus the other one.
Yeah.
For
the barding.
Turned into barding. Yeah.
But yeah, you now have, and I guess actually since the kobolds survived a battle, they're veteran heavy armor, heavy infantry. So.
Good boys.
Question with that, it's like a company of kobolds, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have it noted down in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I also want to point out at some time during that battle, when one of those lieutenants falls, his corpse gets back up and stabs another lieutenant before it falls again.
Love it.
Oh, definitely. Like,
Because that's what Tabra can do.
Yes.
I will say that because it's mithril armor, this stuff is ostentatious as all hell. And the kobolds, like, it doesn't really fit them. It's very piecemeal.
Yeah.
They're still heavy infantry, but they're not like it's. Yeah. And the kobolds grab the spears. They can't really use the long bows because kobolds are small, but they do grab the spears as well.
What
the +1, is that just +1 to AC?
Yeah. In addition to the normal things being full plate.
Okay.
Have we seen like actual just like city populace? Or like, even though the time dilation, like, it's
I will say that like the area you guys were in with with Brutus is that you do actually see a lot of very confused elves around. like not in the palimpsest. The palimpsest basically ate all of them. And a few of the other areas, but like the area that you're just kind of walking around in, this area is basically it's the craftsman district. It's the merchants area. So there's money here. It's not like the nobles, which was where the tower was. That kind of got explodified.
Okay.
Um,
Because on the docks, we didn't see any like normal people even when we were in
Right.
there, right?
right.
Okay, so this is the only place that still has a population, but it
Yeah.
does have a population.
It does have a population, and
And
I will say the elves are like the civilian elves are running from Brutus and
Damn it.
Well, so I have to ask because Brutus went out on this expedition to look for possible armies. When Brutus comes back, is there enough time in that week to send a second group to try to calm the elven population down and help them out?
sure. Who are you gonna send?
Maybe we've got to have elves in our party, right? Like, who do we have who are
you
elven?
have
Bad.
there's two families of elves, and Storm would probably be like the elves and the Tabaxi never had a problem with each other.
Yeah, we had a Daco. We don't anymore.
You need to go and become a
Well,
god.
I just meant that we had to have like elven followers. Somebody did.
Yeah, no one had any specific elven followers, but there was elves in the town.
Right, which means that we could ask a couple of them to come with a couple of us to calm the ancient elves down and get them somewhere safe.
Have fun with that. I will say that a lot of the civilian elves probably saw the massacre and are now like that section of the city is in disarray.
Tabra will accompany those elves just to be scary when we send them out.
Okay.
Like, don't just kill our elves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she'll let them do the actual diplomacy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Storm will go, but Storm will not be happy about it. Storm will just look at the people who caused the problem in the first place and just like shakes his head.
Okay. So we'll get to that in just a sec. So that was Brutus's adventure, and we'll follow up with Storm's adventure. And Whistler is doing Whistler's thing.
One more other question though about Brutus's adventure. Because we didn't really get a chance to check it out before. How complete is the destruction of the palimpsest? Because I know Daco fucked it up.
Yeah,
That's rude.
It is basically one giant sinkhole at this point.
Cool.
Which is probably also why the elves are freaking out in the other, because they're right next to that. They basically got out of the time dilation, an earthquake happened, and a quarter of their city fell into the earth.
Elemental conflux to the east.
And they
Did it come back with us, or did it come back as like a hole, and it still sits floating out in the astral sea somewhere?
It's funnier if it came back as a whole, so it came back as a whole. And their ruling group is gone. So yeah, these elves have a lot of reasons to be absolutely terrified.
It's just reacting.
So we'll get to that. So Storm, how is Storm going to try to help this situation? You do have elves with you to help translate, and you won't have disadvantage on the persuasion check. Is basically what I'm. But how are you going to try to persuade everybody to be calm?
I'm just going to be like, I understand you're all confused. I'm confused.
It's been a long
But
day.
it's been a very long couple weeks, and I'll just try to explain the situation as, just try to acclimate them as kind of slowly as possible, so they don't just have culture shock right here.
Okay, so you were trying to persuade a group to call to a naturally hostile group to calm down and at least become neutral
And
towards you.
I'll be like, do you guys have food? Do you guys have the things you need? Try to bring up. It's like
Right.
we have these things that we could help you with.
Okay, so I will give you advantage on that one because you did bring up something that they actually need, but the DC remains the same. It's DC 25. Give me a persuasion check.
Oh my god, I would have had it with that net.
Nope.
They don't shoot at you,
Oh. Oh, okay.
That's in the right direction.
but they also don't like they're still hostile towards you and are basically running away from you. And are like, it's an occupying force.
All right. So I guess who's all? Is it just me and the other elves, or who's all here?
It
And you also
depends.
sent Antalbras with you. I was assuming that you did not take an army with you.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's
Who would've
Tabra,
done that?
Okay.
like elven families,
Yeah.
and you,
Yeah.
and maybe Jay.
If you wanted.
I don't know if Scott would have allowed Zashi to come with you because I had already said that Zashi was working on some stuff. But
I would have
Handling-
allowed Zashi to go with you, but Zashi really can't help out.
not really, no.
Not
All
right
right.
now.
So if they're like scared and still, not quite there yet, Storm will spend the rest of the time there just trying to be always there, always trying to help.
Okay, so you're going to spend the rest of this week and the next week being there trying to help things out. So we'll go into the next week. Crixus, you managed to finally make your way into town on behest of
Yay.
your patron.
Grandpappy or patron, take your pick.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
What is
It's-
so? Let's see, Brute. So I take it Zashi's going to stay with Storm, trying to calm down the elves.
It depends. If she really can't help, then she would have to leave it in Storm
I mean,
Sands.
you don't
'Cause-
speak Elven, right?
right, I don't speak Elven. Storm has the family of elves.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, I would have gone to make sure that Tobra has some muscle, basically, that they hadn't seen yet, so that if something went south, our elven families didn't get slaughtered.
Mm-hmm.
But once it was in that kind of holding pattern, she would have had to go back.
Okay, so Crixus shows up, so everybody but Storm would be in town when Crixus enters. What's
Yay.
Crixus do? And what does Crixus look like?
So is everyone at the house, the new house? Is that where you're at type situation?
I don't know where they are. I think most of them are in town, or like Whistler's probably at Abernathy's trying to help with the paper situation.
Well, I'm probably trying to track down Zashi anyway because she's
Okay.
the quote unquote leader.
I'm pretty sure when you find her, she's making some sort of like,
Oh, I actually, before we get to this, I need a 1d4 from somebody. Okay,
Close.
now I need two 1d20s minus 1. Okay, so you hear one more explosion go off. However, you also hear a coming from basically the fire department.
Did they get the engine running? One of them?
Yeah.
Trial and error. They finally got
That's
it.
the important one, because the next
Well,
explosion,
incoming,
they're gonna
kids.
need that fire truck.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean,
and I imagine they've leveled up to an artificer. Tiny little
Artificer kobolds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so Crixus, when you find Zashi, you probably find her in town, and she is making a banner that King is wearing
uh-huh.
that says "Vote for Meph." Because
Meth or
so Meph had presented themselves as Mephistopheles Meph, not as Plautus.
okay.
He looked kind of like a younger Plautus, but he had actually called himself Meph. So
So meth
It
is
is.
on the ballot.
yeah, Meph is the name that Zashi is putting on it.
Before we get into this, so I don't forget, and I will give Tucker the choice on this. Wherever you put that heavy infantry note, You can have either mechanized cavalry
Ooh.
or mechanized artillery. Please let me know which one you choose. But Tucker, you get to choose.
Oh, so mechanized cavalry or mechanized artillery?
Yeah. Basically, you get cars or tanks.
Oh, for the kobolds.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want cars.
Okay.
Because I already gave the rats tanks.
Okay.
We just haven't seen them yet.
So
How many
mechanized cavalry.
are you going to build?
I forgot about the rat tanks.
We're going to be ready for the guest.
Let them land. Bring it.
I don't know if they're going to have one big tank piloted by like 100 rats or they're going to have tiny little toy tanks.
It's going to be like
I'm kind of hoping for the later,
It's
yeah.
going to be a bunch of little tanks that combine to form a
A
giant.
big mecha tank.
Like Voltron out here.
But it can't shoot one giant shell. It would have to be like a shotgun burst of all these smaller shells.
Yep.
Yes.
No, I have a plan for what the cranium rats are building for that. It's something interesting.
Not Voltron. Damn it.
That's a transformer of tanks.
Would have been cool. Okay, well, Ms. Zashi, the figure that just lets himself quite brazenly in. I'm going to paste it in here whilst I read it for those who would prefer to read rather than listen to me drone. The figure before you stands just under 6 feet tall. He has an athletic, if slender build, deep red, solid eyes, like the whole eye is red. And most startling, perhaps, his pale white skin has a sheen of opalescent red and blue just beneath the surface that when he moves is almost mesmerizing. He has an extremely angular jaw that ends in a tuft of chin hair bound in a gold ring. He's dressed in very form-fitting, flattering dark leathers to include fingerless gloves, which reveal black painted nails. Lashed to each of his thighs is a brace bearing 3 daggers each. The aggressive lean of those blades implies that they are positioned that way for a quick draw and efficient application. Behind his back is a lightly packed haversack that has seen better days and carries whatever else probably passes for his worldly belongings.
Leave it to Chester. Should have known. Edgelord. Every
So
time.
you now have a high school goth kid in your party. That's what we've gotten right now.
Yep.
Is he a
Which
tiefling?
is completely not how he is at all. It's going to be great.
What actual race is he?
Oh, he's a tiefling.
He is a tiefling. Okay.
Yeah.
Does he have horns?
Oh, I didn't describe them, but probably very faint little ones.
Little baboos.
Yes.
Nubbins.
Does he have a tail?
No, he does not have a tail.
Are we sure, or does he just tuck?
I mean, you're welcome to try and pull down his pants and see how that goes for
I'm
you.
imagining his leather pants are tight enough that if he had a tail, you'd probably see it.
Oh, they're form fitting.
That doesn't matter.
And actually, when he takes off his haversack, he probably turns slightly. You can see it. On the back of his leather jacket is a Hard Rock logo, and it says "Dis" underneath it, but it's very faded. I think that's where it was in previous mentioning.
Mhm.
Wherever Hard Rock was in the Nine Hells, it's for there.
Yeah, it's in this.
Okay, I didn't forget. Yes. So he looks at Zashi. He goes, "You look about right, Zashi, right? Huh?
Yeah, that would be me.
Fantastic."
You are?
Opens up his haversack, moves a couple things aside, pulls out a scroll and hands it to you.
Thank you. Start
And
reading.
when you open that is a copy of the Murder of Crows contract
Excellent.
signed by him and witnessed by Meth,
Mhm.
because Meth was given a copy of the contract.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
while you're reading it, he's like walking around the mural that you're having made, like just like totally appraising it. I don't know if King's wearing it or not, but if he is, like he's getting really close, lifting it up. He's probably never seen something like King. So,
Probably not. Most people
I
haven't.
will note while you hand that scroll. So when it pops in, so you see Crixus's contract, and then it feels heavier as you're reading it, and you realize there's more papers, and you realize that there's more contracts there. Just Crixus is the first one to show up.
Oh yeah, I start reading through it. So, well, I was expecting some people. He did say he was going to be sending us some.
yeah. Dad said you guys have Dad told me that Grandpappy said you guys have a habit of like getting in over your head and almost dying a lot. So yeah, I'm supposed to kind of work off my penance, if you will, and earn my inheritance in trying to keep y'all alive. Also,
All right.
he's gonna love this. Not at all. And he's pointing at that logo that says meth instead of Cloudus.
All right. So let's start with, we'll get to the tabard in a moment. What are your specialties in trying to keep us alive, so I can kind of figure out who to pair you up with when the time comes for when we inevitably split the party?
Ooh, a matchmaker. I like it. And he like rests his hands on the daggers, like Old West style, like kind of hooks them into the hilts a little bit. He's like, well, I'm pretty damn good with these. I'm just saying. I'm really good with people skills. People love me. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there for you. I'm extremely skilled at getting into and out of trouble. That's true. And he emphasized that that's true, oddly, but didn't say the rest was. But he says it's very true that he's skilled at getting into trouble and getting out of it. And I am probably one of the best card players you'll ever meet.
Okay, so my insight roll was 21 to your 11.
So you don't find that everybody likes me.
You get the I will say, by the way, Becca, can you please give me a D100 check? I want to just to figure out how many of these contracts you have.
And if you want that to reveal anything like personality traits or flaws, I'm totally willing to share whatever.
Okay, so you notice, by the way, Becca, there's about 470 of these contracts.
Nice.
Oh boy, the Murder of Crows really has just expanded out a lot more than I was expecting from that deal.
Yes.
But like even just a cursory glance, you realize that there's probably a bunch of individuals that like they're less competent than their emissary, but probably also like there's a reason these people are being foisted off on you.
Oh, definitely. This is going to be a pain in the neck.
What? This is great for you. This is going to be. Look at all these votes.
We just become mess farm.
You become
All
a
right,
mess, what?
We became mess farm team.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about the tabard. What needs to change? Because this was just like a beginning concept. We've got a few more days before the actual.
I mean, that's between you and him. I'm just supposed to keep you alive. How you do things, I'm not in charge of your little club, or sorry, our little club, because now I'm in. Good times. But I'm just saying he generally doesn't go by that name a lot. I know one of my sisters called him that once, and then he slapped her around and sent her to Phlegothos or something like that for a while to learn proper manners. I don't know what the fuck that meant, because I was there once and that was not a place of good manners.
All right. Well, we can change the name. It hasn't really been on most of the flyers that I've been seeing around town.
Yeah, he told me you'd think his name was Cloudus. I mean, I'm surprised you even knew that name.
Yeah. Not going to go into that right now, but we can go with Plautus. That's actually perfectly fine. Let's find you a place to set up your stuff so that you also have a bunk and whatnot, and I'll show you around town and give you the rundown. By the way, the kobolds are actual citizens of the town, so they might lick you to get to know you. It's a little bit odd, but that's how.
Kobolds are great at dice. Not my game of choice, but you know what? I'm gonna enjoy this town. Yeah, I'm gonna like it here a lot. There's a gambling den, right?
There is actually most of the time. It's the Flower and Sickle.
Excellent. Flower and Sickle. Can my place be near there?
Well, we can set you up in a place fairly near there.
Awesome. And does the town have plumbing yet? Because like I really like a nice good jacuzzi after a long trip like this. But like winter travel is rough.
Yeah.
Like, you get a little nauseous sometimes. The bones are all tight. You're learning new gravities, and whew.
So, not full plumbing yet, but the Flower and Sickle has bathing facilities.
Okay.
We have
And
also.
not kobold licking. You get their
Actually,
right?
if you
Okay.
Unless it's changed, Scott. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry. As you cross the Flower and Sickle, you actually hear a scream coming from the back room for the baths.
That's where the bathing's at. I don't know if I want to bathe there.
You see like two naked people run out, and they're like, something's wrong with the plumbing. At which point you see this. It's a weird gray gloop that seems to be moaning, and like arms start stretching out, and there's eyeballs popping everywhere. Like it looks like. Obviously, Crixus, you recognize these things. You're looking at a lemure.
I turn to Zashi then and I say, I didn't know that they were letting rookies out of hell. Why is one of those here?
What
You
is it?
actually, are you still holding the contracts, Sashi?
I am.
So you see like about 15 of them start glowing as you approach this thing.
So that right there is kind of like a larvae, baby, just brand new to hell devil type thing. Really not good for a whole lot except taking a beating and menial labor that doesn't require a lot of manual dexterity.
All right. Excellent. Have some ideas for what they can do. First of all, you, Lemure, get out of the Flower and Sickle and quit sexually harassing.
It doesn't seem to even really have consciousness. It just goes, yes, and just starts like glooping its way out.
Okay. Oh,
I'll
fabulous.
go ahead and translate what she said in Infernal, and then I actually I declare that I'm doing that for her, but I'm third personing it a little bit for some odd reason and just going with it, and I translate her words into Infernal just to make sure it was not an understanding issue.
No, it seems to understand, especially anyone that's holding the contracts. Like they'll follow, they'll do whatever you say. But it isn't. I mean, it's a lemure. It is a bunch of damned souls compiled into gloop.
All right.
They're really gross, and they just kind of.
Yeah, I don't think the bathing hall's gonna get that clean.
They don't
I'm
create
sure-
like a slime trail or anything. It's just kind of
Still gross.
yeah.
I'm
Do
pretty
not sign me up for that. I've got connections. I'm pretty sure I get to skip that pay grade, direct commission or something. This is not going to work for me at all. Nope, you need to stay alive longer, because if I fail and I get that, no.
Okay.
Coming for you first.
Tell the Lemure to start repairing a building, and I'll get back to him later.
Okay, it starts moving to one of the buildings. Somebody give me a 1d20 -4.
Oh no.
These things are useless. Like they're not.
No, I am pointing it toward an already destroyed building that is outside of town.
Actually, weirdly, does a decent job of it seems to know what tools this. Like maybe one of these souls trapped in here is a carpenter. It seems to actually be
A little surprised. Remember that whole not good at manual dexterity thing? I didn't really see that working out for you. Maybe that's why you're the leader around here.
So you can hold a hammer.
There's got to be some reason they picked me as the leader.
I mean, it wasn't your good looks, so you must be.
Might just not be what your cup of tea is. No problem.
Yes,
Monk,
sorry for everyone.
anyhow, Monk will end up getting that cleaned, I'm sure. But the other place for bathing until other normal plumbing is installed, because as far as I know, we don't have plumbing in most of the town, is the Copper Coral. Yeah. Is the Copper Coral when it chooses to return.
Copper core when it chooses to return. It's like a sentient building. Yeah, it's not really going to work for me either. Maybe I'll just take one of these empty spots and kind of convert it and get someone to install some stuff.
You do know that one of the other places that had indoor plumbing was Plautus's mansion, which is very nice. I know he's still there.
Right. That is the other place.
Did you ever take Plautus down?
We did.
Okay.
Mansion?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, so yeah. So did we know that what's his name left?
Yeah, he
Left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he actually disappeared right in front of a couple of us.
Yeah.
And after he said he was returning to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I should totally just squat there. Family digs and all. You should have said something. I know they're going to take care of me up in there.
He doesn't have any servants or anything in there.
Oh, that's okay. I'll win a few.
Did he not? Okay.
No,
what did we
Zashi
do
just
with the
says
corpse?
that.
Mm-hmm. What's that?
What did we do with the corpse?
Buried it.
Okay, well, Whistler's gonna unbury it and race it.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll move on to Storm, and then we'll go back to all of that.
Trolling necromancy, the new theme of Murder of Crows.
Yeah.
Love it.
So Storm, so you're hanging around. They seem to they're not warming to you, but go ahead and give me another diplomacy check. No disadvantage or advantage on this. Wow, you were rolling low on those persuasion checks for once.
Why are you rolling like me, Fork? I don't know.
Well, it's like the last one was a 19, but the DC was 25.
Yeah.
Because people decided to, kill a lot of people.
They started it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. They're still not warming up to you. Especially as so on your end. There is some, like, just from what you overheard from the families that are accompanying with you, and there's their complaints about things coming out of the sewers. There's a rat infestation.
And they have tanks.
It's more that the rats are like stealing metal.
To make said tanks. You're not using that sword, are you? Thanks. I need some side plating.
Mm-hmm.
I've never loved a swarm of rats more in my life. I just want that to be known. It's recycling.
So we'll go back to so as you take Crixus to his new home, there are
there still the unseen servants?
No, the unseen servants are gone. These things are definitely seen now. Dressed in finery is weird things that are trying to make it look like they're humanoid, but are made of more gloop. How can I serve you?
Zashi is actually kind of laughing. Looks like your grandpappy already set you up with a few servants. Congrats.
All in one.
I don't even know, man. Like, I didn't like those things back there. I don't know why I'd send them here.
I don't know. Did you set them up?
Like standing in doorways when you don't want something to walk in. So, like, if you're just trying to block stuff off, you'd be like, "Hey, man, stand here until you're ready for promotion," And then you just.
Granddad said that we were to help you.
Oh, yeah, help me or help her? Because, yeah.
We prove ourselves by keeping you alive.
Yeah. See, I told you they're good. We're here to keep you alive. That's what we do. That's true.
You're going to have some great conversations late at night with these guys, I can see.
Oh, me? No, not in the mansion. No, they're here to help you.
We
I've
are here to help you.
See? Yeah.
But please note, like, because of like that 12 eyeballs it has, it's looking at both of you.
Love it.
I like actually just kind of hide behind Zashi a little bit every time I feel like an eye is like lingering on me too long. Like I just sort of like duck behind things, look out the other way, and like try and surprise it which way I come back out.
You're playing peekaboo. You're playing
Yep.
peekaboo with the
Yeah. Crixus is very much not about the responsibility of leadership.
I wouldn't have picked up on that.
Kind of thing. He's got his own minder, and that's not it.
By the way, either of you can give me I'll go I don't know what knowledge hell check is, but we'll go knowledge religion on how usually these things are handled.
20.
Okay, Zashi, Crixus, I would have given you advantage on it because you're kind of from hell, but apparently it would have mattered.
I didn't pay attention in that class.
Yeah. Zashi, we actually know that lemurays generally are kept in like large pits, and then summoned as they're needed. They're not really like giving them autonomy to do anything. They're kind of useless.
Oh, did I not do a good job like explaining that?
Oh no, that made perfect sense.
Like, if there's like, is there like a wall with some holes in it? Because you could just like plug up the holes with these things. They're great.
I will say that place that was getting repaired, like it's getting repaired, but also you notice it is forming a wall with its own body.
Yeah, this is
Sentient buildings. Remember, I warned you about that. That's not a good thing.
Yeah. Fun times. Anyhow, we left the mansion pretty much as is because it was Meth and Cloudus's possession.
Yeah,
So
I totally get it. No one wants that level of responsibility, and I promise that this is not true. When I have a party this weekend, totally going to clean it up the way I found it. It's going to be great.
Actually, because you are a descendant, you are actually the next in line to take over the house.
Oh yeah. That makes total sense. Yeah, it'll work. It'll do.
All right, I'll leave you to get settled in.
Cool. Hey, do you play poker? I'm thinking about having a card game this weekend. Not a party, because that'd be crazy. But maybe like a card game. Just a couple friends, maybe a couple tables. It could just get a little bit bigger. Depending on how many players we can round up, we could do like a whole tournament. It'd be a really good time.
That is something you could schedule. Probably
Yes.
Daco's place would be the best place to do it.
Who?
Daco's place.
Who's that?
The current god of magic, Jay, is actually running it now.
The earth starts to shake a little bit.
Yeah, didn't mean that. Sure, he's a real swell stand-up god thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, he can play cards. I mean, as long as he's not going to shake the table like that, because generally players don't like it. They think it's people are cheating or something like that if things move. And like as he's saying, like coins are like rolling around his fingers. Like clearly he's someone who does cheat.
Yep. All right.
Around this point, the election is called, by the way.
Okay. Excuse me. I actually have to go to that.
Yeah. You got to do the thing that that's why you need to stay alive thing. So yeah, I'll just come along and make sure you stay alive for that.
Oh my god, I've never been happier to not be in charge. Have fun with your puppy bodyguard.
Oh yeah.
This is gonna be great.
I am just curious as to what else Beth has planned for me if he's so intent on keeping me alive.
He said it was in the contract. I just, my job is just to make sure you live long enough to fill your end of the bargains. you read all the fine print, right? Because that's something you should really, really do. Like, because if you get distracted and you miss something, boom, done. That's just going to come back biting the ass later, just like Fido did when I was 12. Because, yeah, I forgot to feed him for a week, and he didn't appreciate that.
Yep. So Zashi is walking as this is happening. And she's
migraine goes.
and she is just thinking to herself, I'm so glad that it wasn't like a full-on contract.
Are you sure? Because sometimes those contracts, they have like folding sections, and it looks like it's flat, but then you're like, like it actually opens up sideways, and then there's like an entire other block of text in there that you didn't know was there because it was actually a 3-dimensional contract. That's so cool.
Wait, what is Brutus doing on this and Whistler?
I don't know, but Jay found a new best friend, and I can't wait for them to meet.
Tucker and Chris just dropped out.
Oh,
shit.
Oh, connection, I bet.
Yeah.
I'm good on that.
Crap.
No.
No.
I love the ADD boy. We keep him.
I never intentionally kill any characters.
This one might get there. I wanted something really different.
It's gonna be interesting.
Okay, so Brutus, what is Brutus doing? Wait,
He wouldn't be useful for helping with the elves anymore. Were there other areas that he could be exploring or investigating?
I mean, you could try to figure out what the swarm was doing. You could be just helping deal with the new lemurays that are running around town, or not really running, sliding.
I would love to try and help with the lemurays because I love them now. What would you like me to do for that?
Actually, I'll just say it's more that the lemurays are like, you must be Brutus.
I think Brutus just likes the chill vibe. He's like, yes, hello.
We are here to serve you.
I appreciate that. Can I help you with what you're doing?
Can we help you with what you're doing?
What are they currently tasked with? Does Zashi give them something?
I think the only one that she's tasked is the one to build a house. Now, that said, that one is probably like taking on any of the lemurays that walk by it. So this house is building this house, and then it's also forming walls. By the way, one thing you do notice is these things are in basically constant pain. So, like, every once in a while, one will just scream.
Oh. Well, now I'm sad.
We're making a sentient house.
Yeah. I will try to guide some of them to their tasks away from that house so that they don't all slurp into one big one.
Okay. You don't want to dire greater lemuray? Okay.
I honestly would love that if I thought that I could in any way help control it. I think Brutus's thought is maybe all of them together is why they're screaming. So if we separate them, for some reason, maybe he thinks that will help. I don't know.
Okay.
As far as tasks, is there anything else that would be a little less complex labor that they could be doing to help?
I mean, you could. They basically can function as any. It's just they're poor at everything. But if you wanted, they could pick up garbage. They could do.
Okay. Yeah, sanitation.
Yeah.
Will that conflict with the kobold unions?
They'll work together. Actually, I think that's it. I'll try helping assign lemurays to different units of kobolds to see if they can help.
Okay.
And yeah, for stuff like sanitation or helping take care of
the kobolds love the things. They're like they start to think of them as pets.
Yes, I love it. I'm down for it. Brutus will hold the acclamation for that.
And they're actually kind of a weird balancing factor. They're so slow and chill compared to the crazy hyperness of the kobolds. They kind of
they work well together.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yep, that'll be my thing is facilitating that.
Okay.
I'll do the union negotiations.
I will say that the house is getting bigger and bigger, and like, unless you look at it away, you can't tell that the walls are living. It's also like structurally looking out of place in Malys as it's being built throughout the week. Like most of Malys is kind of a like desert vibe, like flat roofs and exposed beams and the like. Made primarily out of plaster and adobe.
Mhm.
The building that you're seeing, I mean, it wouldn't be the words they use, but it has very heavily sloped roofs and shingles and like gargoyle. It's looking super Victorian.
I adore it. Do the lemurs, do they eat or anything? Do I need to come back to the house with food
They don't
for
really
it?
eat. They just kind of.
Then Brutus will make a point every day, or maybe a couple times a day, to go and just hang out in or near the house to keep it company.
Okay.
That's kind of it.
Give me a
Friendship roll. What do you
give
want?
me a persuasion roll.
I'm just trying to chill with it.
It's not a high DC.
Yeah, but it's me, so.
Yeah, but it appreciates the company.
Then
I wouldn't
then
say you're
that-
friends, but it
Yeah.
appreciates the company.
all right, that's all he's doing then.
Okay.
Yeah. Sashi's thinking that she might be required to move into the house that she asked it to build. Does Brutus want to move in?
Oh, hell yeah, let's be roommates.
All
Let's do it.
right.
Jay
So-
will love it too.
So at least a few of us are actually going to start living in the Lemuray house.
Okay. Sure, we'll finish up the week with that. I will say the elections happen. Meth gets elected unless somebody wants to do something about that. And then
There is a moment where an undead Plautus walks down the street with a sign that says "Vote for me."
sure.
Yes.
Give me a straight D20 check.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Not me.
Not me.
Shayna muted her mic. I'm guessing it's her.
Oh, yeah.
That sounded like a carbon monoxide alarm or something.
Or a fire. Yeah. Okay, so 15. Yeah, actually, with that roll, we'll say Plautus gets reelected instead of Meth.
There's a celebration party at the mansion.
Mm-hmm. So now you have a zombie mayor.
Well, that actually kind of means that Whistler's mayor, doesn't it? He controls a zombie.
Effectively, except that, but yeah, effectively, I guess.
Congratulations.
Well, but Meth is Plautus, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. So it's kind of a weird.
Well, was it Cloudus's name on the ballot or Meth's name on the ballot?
Plautus, because
Yeah.
you said that he actually really doesn't want to be called Meth most of the time.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so Plautus gets elected. At which point, around Crixus, you're just like, you get it's like a bunch of
I do have an
paperwork kind of
earlier that I did-
appears on your desk. Or,
Okay.
Like it's like, and just in your head, sign these for me, and it's just a stack of papers.
Yeah, I don't like to sign things myself. And I start doing this with his hands. He's like, I don't like to sign things myself. And I don't know what my imp's name is because I was totally leaving that up to you. But now you're back. You were all blurry there for a second. I don't know if you want to like totally NPC my imp or whatever, but I was gonna totally just pawn that off on. Yeah, these need signed. And I just like slide them across to him.
He looks at you, very annoyed. All right, and he grabs a quill and just he first starts out and he signs it like Nigel. Nope, crashes out Nigel, and then it's like Crixus.
So my his name is Nigel. Got it.
But he's signing it Crixus, which you were aware that it probably should be signed Plautus, but
yeah, point that out.
Scratches out Crixus again.
3 names on the first form.
Yeah.
And then I just go ahead and I start dealing like cards and making like a solitary house out of cards. He's doing the work.
And then I guess we'll finish up with because I won't want to start no, we shouldn't. I do need at the end of that week because Brutus and Zashi are staying in the obviously haunted house. Please give me a wisdom save from both of you.
I don't get to do a persuasion?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a persuasion check first. But they're not actually actively trying to terrify you.
Right.
I would also say that Zashi is going to go to the Flower and Sickle for a night of relaxation after the election. Just wanted to throw that out there too.
Okay.
I still also have a big thing on my list.
Okay, so
But I didn't know when it needed to happen. So
yeah, we'll get to that. I still need wisdom saves from Brutus and Zashi with advantage. DC is 15 because of the persuasion roll. You get advantage, but you're sleeping in a house full that is the walls are literally made out of tormented souls.
Yep.
They barely made it with the 15 shit.
Okay, give me a brief second.
Suppose I actually need to do one per king too.
Yeah, okay. And then Whistler, what are you doing?
Okay, so when he's not campaigning,
One. So that's going to be +5.
haunted zombie, along with a couple of other zombies that I picked up over the probably from outside the palimpsest, where they weren't in the hole or whatever, or skeletons or whatever. I've got in the house where I've got Sandy stashed, and they're actually guarding him. I am researching ways to not be seen by like divination magic.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
Vecna Jr.
Yeah. Sorry, when the internet crashed, I just lost all my stuff.
Basically, you're trying to come up with Are you trying to create an item like that allows you an item to protect you from divination magic, or like a spell?
Like he's looking for an item.
Okay. So there are definitely rumors of such an item already existing. You have no idea how to create one, but what you can tell, you're going to need the help of a powerful diviner and a powerful abjurer in order to be able to actually create such an item.
Okay.
But there are rumors of an artifact of such power existing in Suabos, but there's no real record of where it would be.
Okay, so like just simple like amulets and non-detection are not a thing.
No.
Okay.
Are you just trying to prevent yourself from simple divination magic? I thought it was like the entire divination school.
No, just from being scryed upon.
Oh yeah, then
he wants a way to hide Sandy.
Okay, yeah, the amulet of non-detection is easy. Sorry, I misinterpreted what was going on. Yeah, you could easily commission one from. Probably don't have the skills to make it yourself, but you could easily commission one with any real piece of jewelry you have on you to get one from Abernathy.
Okay. Yeah. Then he will buy some jewelry from the jeweler and then try to commission one from Abernathy.
Okay, I will have to calculate.
However long that's going to take.
Yeah, it won't take too long. I have to calculate the cost of it though. So
yeah,
I'll get you that cost in a little bit. I'm sure you have enough gold for it though.
He also wants to use the crystal ball, thinking of Sandy, and then Sandy's got a sister, but he's never met, and he's trying to find that sister.
Okay, I will need to talk to Terry on that one because that involves his character.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
Yeah. We did send Bleep to notify her with Sandy's belongings. That was part of his contract that he had stated with the Murder of Crows. So after he died, that was one of the things that Zashi made happen.
Right, I just don't know.
Yeah, but she's kidnapped, so we didn't know where she is. That's part of his deal. Is she's actually missing.
Yeah, so I have to ask Terry some things about that character. So we'll get back to that next session.
Yeah, no, I know. I just wanted to set that up because he's trying to set it up where he can.
Okay. So
he wants to hide him before he brings him back.
So the next week, I will say, as you guys kind of probably the second day of the final week, the moon is getting very big. You also hear a weird clanking, like a rumbling from the ground. It's not similar to Daku's though; it's more constant and mechanical. And as you turn to the sky, a very large cannon starts peeking out from the library.
Hey, Zashi.
Yeah.
I didn't think you had those kind of things on this world. Was there a memo? Did I show up really late? Like
no.
What is it?
So whatever that is, it looks like a really big version of the loud thunder rifle thing that my dwarf companion has. That is where the swarm is located. So it's something they've created.
Not you got a bug problem? I don't like bugs, man. They're not.
Oh, cool. No, they're rats.
What's good at killing bugs are those Lemire things. We could just send a bunch of them over there and clear the bug problem.
No, they're rats. They're intelligent. Actually, kind of fun to talk to. So long as you don't flood their tunnels.
Oh,
they get a bit mad. They get a bit mad when you flood their tunnels and try to steal your books. Come on. Why are they trying to? Never mind. Why are they always trying to steal my books? Damn it.
Well, you know what's better than books is cards. Like maybe you should sit them down and play a poker game and be like, listen, if I win, like you got to leave my books alone. But if I win, then you got to go get me other people's books instead of stealing my books. Like, got to go outside the box sometimes. Make a circle or a triangle. So
Zashi does not tell Crixus that the rats are telepathic. she doesn't tell him.
Totally fine.
He'll learn.
Yeah.
Or he won't, because they'll erase his memories.
Very true also.
So wait, what's Crixus doing?
I'm just talking about this giant cannon with Zashi making, and then we got detoured because I've got ADHD and we went around talking about books and cards.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like the giant canyon from the tank plans?
Yep. Or are you getting this image of your head of some story made by this person named Verb Jewel about shooting things to the moon?
Cool.
It's definitely aimed at that temple.
See, we don't need to worry about it.
Everything's fine. I am definitely having a night over at the Flower and Sickle. Before all hell breaks loose again.
Sweet. You think they got the plumbing cleaned up? Because that did not
Yeah,
go well.
all 407, like if you wanted to, all 470 souls are accounted for from the Lemures. Most of them are your house. Um,
So on the bright side, if this place gets leveled, that place might still be standing. Maybe.
oh, it can take a lot of damage. I will actually have to come up with the HP of your house.
Excellent.
The Storm, one last time, give me a persuasion roll.
Come on,
Let's see.
Storm, you
The
can do it.
townspeople are actually this much lower DC.
Nope. Storm at this point is getting bored.
They're just like, you're not gonna. The elves are freaking out. They're because the moon is really close now. It's like it's actually eclipsing the sun in terms of just because of how light works. It's casting its shadow on Subos. The cannon. At night, all of you on the second day get an image of a bunch of basically a shell being created with a cockpit designed for humanoids. Behind it, a container of a bunch of tiny tanks. To be shot out of this cannon.
Well, the next day I just show up at the library.
I round up the party. I go, apparently the swarm has a plan. Let's go say hello to him.
Crixus is like all about introducing himself to everyone that Zashi rounds up, by the way.
Okay.
And the typical erratic, just, hey, how's it going? I'm Crixus. Like, down rabbit holes where the conversations lead as you go.
I changed my aura to devil.
Okay.
Doesn't intimidate me. It's fine.
You probably can't even see it unless you can read auras.
I
Storm,
cannot.
you wander back and you're like, after being gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah. It's like, is it nap time? Storm wants a nap. So he's
I'm pretty sure you get a chance to nap before we head off on the next.
it's dark right now. So
Yeah. And that's where we'll end for today. So yeah, you now have, and then we'll pick up you talking to the Storm next week. Hopefully we'll have Terry and we can finish up some of that stuff. Like, yeah, tiny rat tanks. I was planning on one big tank, but the rat tanks are funnier.
They're really funny. I love it so much.